ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before we start the 7th chapter, let's quickly revise some points from the 6th chapter. Okay? I'm going to ask you some questions. I want all of you to unmute and answer. Okay? Thoda sa, and I want all of you to unmute and try and answer. So first, the mind can be our best dash or our worst dash. What is it?
Our friend also and our Shatru also.
Okay, very good. So for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. And for one who has failed to conquer his mind, the mind is the greatest enemy. Right? Okay. Now, did anyone learn the verse which talks about the qualities of the mind? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna Pramati Balabhadrudam. Yes, Indrujit, please.
No, I have not learned, but 4.34, I think, 34.
Very good. Please read it out.
Chanchalam, 1 minute. Chanchalam hi mana hi balabhadrira tatsahang nigrahang manne bayoribo sudishkaram.
Wonderful. So the first quality of mind is chanchal. Right? It is constantly flickering. It's jumping from one thought to another thought. So chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati. It is always agitated. Tuchha asakti. It is attached to all kinds of rubbish stuff. Balavad. It is very, very strong. The mind pushes us to do things that we do not want to do, and it is drudam. It is extremely obstinate. It is rebellious. It tries its best not to listen to the intelligence. So Arjun says controlling the mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. But Krishna says, yes, I accept. I accept that this man is chanchal, it is pramati, it is balavad, it is drudam. But I'm going to give you a two-step way to control your mind. And what is the two-step way of controlling the mind?
Abhyas and Vairagya.
Excellent. Abhyas and Vairagena. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, Vairagyena cha gruyati. Abhyas means by constant practice. A, B, C, D. N is association. Always use your association with care. Be very careful who you hang out with. B, read the right books. Probably most of us are at a time in our life when we can say goodbye to a lot of the old rubbish that we used to consume. Right? We can say goodbye to those books and we can start picking up scriptures or good self-help books, good morally educating books that will put us on the spiritual path. C, chanting. There is absolutely no substitute to nama. Right? Jitna naam jap karoge, utna consciously, unconsciously, you will get purified. And last, diet.
Focus on diet.
Sorry?
Focus on diet.
Focus on diet. And diet does not mean only food. Food is the diet for our mouth. Be careful about the diet for everything else. What we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we eat, and what we touch. Be careful about the diet that we give to all our senses. Okay? So, abhyas means A, B, C, D. Okay? All the niyam, jo niyam humko palan karna hai, that is abhyas. And vairagya is detachment. The don'ts. So, don't when Prabhupada has given us 4 don'ts. Don't consume alcohol or any other intoxication. Don't eat meat, right? Don't get into illicit sex. Don't get into gambling. Very easy to follow. So these 4 regulative principles, these are detachments. If we can start detaching ourselves from this, we will be able to detach ourselves from a lot of things that put our mind in the gutter, right? So taking our mind away from the world is vairagya, and bringing our mind closer to God is abhyasa, right? And then of course my favorite section in that 6th chapter is Arjun says कि भाई जिसने थोड़ी मोटी भक्ति की है ना, सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ है, उसका खत्म नहीं हुआ है, तो उसका क्या होगा कृष्णा? And Krishna gives us the most beautiful answer. He says जिसने थोड़ी बहुत की थी, एकदम थोड़ी सी भक्ति, उसको तो after this particular life gets over, I will send him to the heavenly planets, है ना, स्वर्गलोक. There he will enjoy a lot, and after he enjoys a lot over there, I will bring him back to earth so that he can continue his spiritual journey. So when I bring him back to this Bhulok, I will not put him in any era-gera house. I will put him in a family of Shuchinam Shrimatam, family of pious people or family of wealthy people, so that this person does not have to struggle in his life. This person will directly be able to nicely continue his spiritual path. And to that person who has done a lot of bhakti, right? And then he has given up his body, but he has not reached his goal yet. For him, though, I won't even send him to the heavenly planets. क्यों unnecessarily time waste करें? For him, I will directly give him birth in a beautiful yogi family, a family of transcendentalists, and there, जहाँ उसका खत्म हुआ था, वहीं से वो शुरुआत करके निकल जाएगा, right? So it's a very, very reassuring section where how much ever we do, nothing goes waste. Krishna is very, very merciful. तुमने जहाँ तक किया है वहाँ का safe रखेंगे, and he will let us go ahead from there. And Krishna ended the 6th chapter with a beautiful shlok, which is actually the seed verse for the 7th chapter onwards. Please understand, the Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, right? The first 6 chapters are essentially giving us Atma Jnana, right? It is telling us who are we, why are we in the world, what is my relationship with the Supreme, right? So this last verse, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yugmam same yukta tamo matah. Krishna is saying who according to him is the greatest yogi. And he says out of all the yogis, those who think of me always in their hearts, those who serve me and worship me with faith, that person is dearest to me, right? So Krishna is exclusively saying कि भाई उन पे focus कर लो and serve him with great dedication, you will become the best yogi. So obviously now one is going to think कि भाई, for me to exclusively focus on this person and serve him with faith, I need to know him better, right? Who is this person that I need to think about? Who is this person that I need to worship? Who is this person that I need to meditate on? What does he do? How can I know him better? है ना? So Arjuna has not asked these questions, but Krishna is very kind. He knows कि now clarity is very, very important. And so from the 7th chapter to the 12th chapter is the Bhakti section, where Krishna is going to tell us a lot about himself. Okay, and please remember, he's not doing this from a place of ego. कि मैं इतना बड़ा हूँ, मैं इतना महान. No, he's doing this so that we get to know in truth who we are relating with. Right? See, if a gentleman comes and stands next to you, you may not pay much attention to him. But if he introduces himself as, you know what, I am Tata, automatically you will look at him with more reverence, with more awe, and any advice that he gives, you will be able to listen with greater submission. Right? So, with all humility, Krishna simply wants to tell us who he is so that we will be better prepared to listen to him. Okay? So that is where the 7th chapter begins. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha अथ सप्तमोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन् मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं माम् यथा ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु. Okay, one correction. Partha is Arjun's name. Pritha ka beta. Pritha is another name for Kunti Maharani. Okay, so son of Pritha. Pritha is Kunti. Pritha ka beta Partha. Okay, all right. What a beautiful verse.
Partha means friend also, no?
Partha ka real name is that he is the son of Pritha. Another accepted name is friend because he is Krishna ka friend. Okay, so the actual name is Pritha ka beta. So he is Vasudev because he is Vasudev ka beta. Right? So that is how the names come. All right. So look at this verse. Mai asakta manah Partha. O Partha, O son of Pritha, just keep your mind attached to me. मैं आसक्त, तुम्हारी आसक्ति कहाँ पे होनी चाहिए? मुझ में होनी चाहिए. Right? योगम युंजन मत आश्रयः. तुम योग, तुम कनेक्शन किसके साथ करो? मेरे साथ. किसका आश्रय लो? मेरा आश्रय. मत आश्रय. Right? Look at what beautiful words they are. If you do that, if you're attached to me through yoga and if you take my ashray, asamshayam, without any samshay, samagram mam, you will come to me. Yatha gnasyasi tat shrunu. How to do all of this? Please listen. So, tat shrunu. Please listen. Highlight those words. Tat shrunu. Spiritual life begins with listening, with hearing. And this is very relevant for all of us. We must always listen and we must listen with faith, without any doubts. Right? Our mind needs to be attached to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, Mat ashray, take my shelter. Don't take any other temporary shelters. Just come to me. Right? We must all take shelter of the Lord because He will never let us down. There's a very sweet incident in that Gajendra Moksha, right? We all know the Gajendra Moksha story. So that crocodile has held Gajendra's leg. First Gajendra is thinking, chalo main khud ladunga, hai na? Main to Gaj ka Indra hu. I'm the king of all elephants. So I'm super strong. I can destroy this crocodile. So first he fights on his own. Then he thinks, "Kare, meri to itni badi family hai. So my family will come to help me." Family tries. They all fail. Then his friends try really hard to pull him out. Right? So nobody is able to help him. Finally, he's exhausted. Picks up a lotus and calls out to Vishnu. Right? As soon as Vishnu listens to Gajendra ka call for help, Vishnu's in Vaikuntha. He goes running to Garud. He sits on his Garud. He comes super fast, uses his Sudarshan Chakra and kills the crocodile. Right? Now here is the really sweet part. Normally when Vishnu has to go anywhere, right? Before he sits on Garud, he does Achaman. Right? वो पहले तो सफाई करते हैं. Then he wears his shoes. He wears his uttariya. है ना? He wears his shawl. Then he puts a nice soft asana on Garud and then he sits on Garud and then he goes to do whatever work he has to do. But when a devotee calls out, when Gajendra called out, Bhagwan did not stop to do anything. है ना? न सीट डाला, न उत्तरिया लिया, न आचमन किया. Literally नंगे पाँव भागे चले गए. है ना? So that song that we know, नंगे पाँव में दौड़ी चली आई है, it comes from Krishna. Right? So to save his devotees, he does not stop for any other formalities. He comes instantly. So we surrender to Krishna. We should be sure that he will come to our rescue immediately. So this is a very important verse and let's study it in the reverse order. Okay? We'll go ulta. We'll go from the bottom line upwards. Tat shrunu. The first thing we need to do is just listen. Listen to whatever Krishna is telling us. If you do that, second thing will happen. Yatha jnasyasi. You will get jnan. You will start understanding. Every time you listen to any speaker, right? Don't start thinking कि यार मैंने ये कितनी बार सुना हुआ है. Try and look for little snippets that will still help you make your spiritual journey better, right? Every time we listen to some good speaker, there is value addition in our life, right? So yatha jnasyasi. When we listen, we will start to understand. When we understand, samshayam, all our samshay will disappear. And when our doubts disappear, what will happen? Mat ashray. We will be able to take shelter more easily. We will become God conscious. As we become God conscious, yogam yunchan, we will be able to connect with God through bhakti. We will start realizing that I'm to a chota part of that big whole. So I will start to understand my connection with God. And when that happens, my asakta mana, my mind will definitely become attached to God. And all of this starts from where? Tat shrunu, by simply listening. So in this whole chapter, we'll see Arjuna is simply listening. He does not ask any questions. Tat shrunu, right? Shastra actually gives us a very interesting, crude example. Okay, it says that तुमको क्या करना है as a woman? You simply have to get a sperm. Okay, you simply have to get impregnated. Once you get pregnant, then automatically so many changes happen in the body to accommodate that little bundle which is growing inside. Right? You don't have to then do anything special. All the changes automatically happen. Right? जो भी होता है भाई, I mean, you know, your body increases in size, your uterus increases, the right fluids develop, you're feeding your baby, the cord is connected, सब कुछ हो जाता है, and the baby comes out. You've done nothing. You just got pregnant. Right? Baby comes out, even after that, wonder of wonders, your body automatically starts producing milk. Why? Because that milk is what sustains that baby. Right? So it's magical. What did you do? All you did was got a sperm. Right? Everything else happened. Like that, Krishna says, you simply listen. बस कान दे दो तुम. Shravanam. Right? Everything will happen once you start hearing. Always remember that we learn far more through our ears. We actually see a lot more through our ears than through our eyes. है ना? हम आंखों से ज्यादा कान से देखते हैं. How do we know so much about China? Have we actually traveled and seen China to that great detail? No, we've heard, right? How do we know about Shivaji Maharaj? Have we met him? No, we've heard about him. So we all need to make a paradigm shift and we need to start listening better. We need to start listening with faith. And when we do that, Krishna sees our eagerness. And when Krishna sees our eagerness, he himself picks up a jhadu, right? And he sweeps out all the cobwebs, all the kachra in our hearts. Krishna himself will start cleaning out. Vidhunoti surut satam. There's a beautiful line which says, as soon as we decide, Krishna, I want to listen to you properly. Krishna says, okay. Now all the anarthas which are in your heart, it is my job to clean them all. Right? So think of it. He will take a jhadu and he will clean out all the cobwebs in your heart. There's a beautiful story. Okay, there is a thief who once accidentally goes to a place where Bhagavad Katha is happening. Okay, Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam. Right, there's a beautiful verse. Bhagavad की कथा चल रही है. And वो जो speaker है वो महान कथाकार है. right? So he's describing the beauty of Krishna and Balram as little boys. And then he's talking of this beautiful mother, Yashoda Maiya, who dresses up her two boys with all kinds of jewelry and silk clothes, right? Ekdam detail me, he's talking about all the jewels that Yashoda is putting on Krishna and on Balram before she sends them out to graze their cows. Now thief is very interested. Thief starts listening with rapt attention because he's thinking, acha, so there is a one somewhere close by where these two boys are wearing a lot of jewelry. All I need to do is find these boys, rob them of this jewelry. रोज मैं ये क्या छोटी मोटी चोरी कर रहा हूँ, है ना, मुश्किल से पेट भरता है, चलो इन बच्चों को है ना पकड़ता हूँ, एक साथ सारी ज्वेलरी है ना लूट लेता हूँ, then I will not have to, steal for the rest of my life. Right? तो बड़ी ध्यान से पूरी कथा सुनता है. He waits for the entire chapter to get over and then quietly he leaves that place. Right? So he's heard that कथाकार से कि वृंदावन में ऐसे दो लड़के हैं. So this thief is now not able to think of anything else. बस मुझे वृंदावन जाना है, मुझे है ना ये कृष्ण और बलराम को पकड़ना है, मुझे उनके jewels लेना है. That's the only thought in his mind. He सोचते, right? He's thinking, acha, what did that Maharaj say? I have to go to Vrindavan. I have to go to the banks of the Yamuna. There in beautiful green pastures, these boys are going to come. One boy is like a dark cloud. He's got a murli in his hand. He's got a peacock feather on his head. And the other one is fair. And he's wearing white silk garments. Right? So day and night, this thief is thinking about going to Vrindavan and seeing these beautiful boys. तो उसके मन में, उसके heart में क्या चल रहा है? I have to go to Vrindavan. This is all that he could think of. And finally he goes there. है ना? हाथ पाँव मार के, कैसे भी करके, he reaches Vrindavan. He's not eating food, he's not drinking water. Days have passed. He's about to collapse. And then who does he see? He sees those two beautiful boys. Right? And the moment he sees these two beautiful boys, he forgets himself. Without even realizing it, हाथ जोड़ता है और आंखों से टप 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 पानी गिरना शुरू होता है. ये दिल से आए हुए आंसू हैं. Right? And he starts thinking, who is that horrible mother who's dressed up these boys so beautifully and sent them alone to the jungle? Right? These boys are chiseled to perfection. They're so gorgeous. Why do they have so many ornaments on them? Right? So he goes to these boys and he says, stop, stop, stop. And he says, stop, and he holds Krishna's hand. And the moment he holds Krishna's hand, all his previous karmas are wiped off. They're all burnt. And he says, little boy, I came all this way because I wanted your jewelry. But looking at you, I kind of feel, nah, I don't want anything. I just want to be with you. I just want to stay attached to you. Right? I don't want your jewels anymore. So remember, the transformation has started. Tears are rolling. And Krishna blesses him. Says, you know what? तू जो मुझे ढूंढ रहा था ना, वो सच्चा ढूंढना था. Right? This was true seeking. I'm so pleased with your love. And so Krishna and Balram, they take off all their jewelry, they put it in the little potli and they give it to the thief and they vanish from there. This thief is so confused. He goes back. He goes back to find that scholar जिससे उसने पूरी कहानी सुनी थी. He goes there and he says, what is this? Here, take all these jewels that you spoke about. That guy is so confused. He says, ये तुम्हें कहाँ से मिला? He says, तुम्ही ने तो बोला था वृंदावन जाओ, फॉरेस्ट में जाओ, यमुना तट पे जाओ, वहाँ पे ये दो लड़के होंगे और उन्होंने ये सारी ज्वेलरी पहनी हुई है. I did exactly that. I went there and I got all this jewelry. The Kathakar is so amazed. Look at the irony of it. Right? The thief was the real seeker. The thief could not rest. The thief could not eat without seeing Krishna. Whereas this Kathakar, he has been spending his entire life going to different places, preaching about Krishna, but he's never had the same longing to see Krishna. Right? So what is the whole story telling us? That if you want to see Krishna face to face, all you have to do is hear with faith. जब हम लोग कथा सुनते हैं, we think we're listening to a katha, a leela, which has happened long time ago, is not going to happen in our lives. तो faith नहीं है. When that thief, he didn't know anything about Krishna or Balram, he didn't know anything about Bhagavad, he didn't think ये कभी पुराणों वाली कथा है. He thought this guy is talking about somebody real. So with faith, he heard. And when he heard with faith, he could take darshan of the Lord. So in fact, I must thank all of you for coming here, joining this session regularly and showing such interest in wanting to know more about Krishna, in spite of me being completely unqualified. I can assure you one thing. If you continue to listen with this eagerness, then this listening will pay off in the most crucial moments of your life. This knowledge, even without us realizing it, this knowledge makes us very, very strong inside. And in the hard moments of our life, this knowledge will see us through. Right? So always remember, every time you give your ear to something, it is not a waste of time. It rewards you several times over. Okay? Alright. So we'll move to the second verse. 7.2. Please repeat after me. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyam yasheshatah yajñātvā neha bhūyonyaj jnātavyam avashishyate.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know.
Wonderful. This should actually make us very, very proud of our scriptures. And I'm not comparing scriptures and saying one is better than the other, but I'll talk about the fullness of the scripture. This is the only scripture in the world which says, this being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. All other scriptures, you take the Bible, you take the Quran, they're all scriptures that have very clearly said that we are messengers of God or children of God, son of God, and I'm giving you as much as you can understand. This is the only scripture which tells us that I give you complete knowledge. Okay? Now, complete knowledge means knowledge about this material world and knowledge about the spiritual world. So, Prabhupada calls it phenomenal and numinous. Phenomenal means जब भी कुछ भी होता है इस world में, in the material world, right? There is a phenomena behind it, right? There is some theory that we can explain. So, theoretical knowledge, material knowledge, knowledge of everything that is visible in this world is phenomenal knowledge. And realized knowledge is spiritual knowledge. And Krishna says, बस इतना सुन लो, इसके आगे तुमको और कुछ सुनने की जरूरत नहीं है. मतलब ये पूरी किताब सुन लो, ये किताब छोड़ के you don't need to go looking for spiritual truths anywhere else. So if we listen carefully, Krishna is going to give us jnana and vijnana. So I'll give you another crude example to understand the difference between jnana and vijnana. So if I tell you, look at this round ball, it is called a gulab jamun. And it's got 20 grams of sugar. It's very, very sweet. It's high in calories. It is first fried. Then it is soaked in sugar syrup. If I tell you all this is the theory of the gulab jamun. Right? But as soon as you eat that gulab jamun, bah, kya baat. You know? That, what we experience when we eat it, that is realized knowledge. तुम कितना भी theory सुन लो, unless you experience it, you cannot internalize it. Right? So any knowledge should go through 3 phases. First, we should get that knowledge. Okay? Get knowledge. Second is you understand it. है ना? उसको बार बार सुनो, उसको समझो. And third, apply it in your lives. And that application will lead to realization. Right? So Krishna is going to talk to us about his Aishwarya, his opulences, and his Madhurya, his sweetness. So he's going to tell us all the theory about the gulab jamun, and then he's going to let us taste the gulab jamun. Right? So that 7th chapter to 12th chapter, we're going to get all the theory and all the experiences. And now Krishna is going to tell us how lucky you are that you have joined this session today. Okay? Listen to the verse. Manushyanam sahasreshu kachid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kachin mam vetti tatvatah.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
Look at this. Manushyanam sahasreshu. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of men. We recently reached the 8 billion mark, right? Our population is 8 billion. So there are 8 billion people in this world. Kaschit yatati siddhaye. Out of all these 8 billion people, very few people actually want to perfect their lives. Spiritual siddhi बहुत कम लोगों को चाहिए. Yatatam api siddhanam, and even out of those people who are out to seek spiritual knowledge, kaschin mam vetti tatvatah. Very few people actually understand me in tattva. Please understand the word tattva. Tattva means in reality, as I am. So Krishna is telling us, out of billions of people out there, right? A few thousands may start on this spiritual journey. Out of those few thousands, some may get lost in karma kand, some may get lost in karma yoga, some may get lost in jnana yoga, some may get lost in ashtanga yoga. There are very, very few people who reach the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and start understanding more about bhakti yoga, so that they will come to a point when they will realize Ishvara Parama Krishna. Right? So Krishna is the Param Ishwar. To understand this is to understand Krishna Tattvataha, in reality as he is. So this verse tells us that without bhakti, we cannot realize the Supreme Lord. We could do a lot of karma yoga, a lot of jnana yoga, a lot of ashtanga yoga, but all of them will come and put us on the path of bhakti. Right? So for us to understand God in truth, we need to get on the bhakti mark. Right? And now verses 4, 5 and 6, Krishna is going to give us a lot of his theory so that we understand his material and his spiritual dimensions. Right? Now please remember, intelligence is required to understand Krishna philosophy. To understand anything in truth, we need intelligence. Krishna has always said, please use your intelligence and understand all these concepts. So now when I'm talking, if your mind goes idhar udhar, hold it tight. Because we know, chanchalam hi mana Krishna. But Krishna has said, hold it tight, abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyena chu guhyati. So hold your mind tight, bring it back and listen to all the theory now. Okay? Verse 4, and I need all of you to know these 5 words by heart by the time we finish the class. Verse 4, please repeat after me. Bhumir apo nalo vayuhu ham mano buddhirev cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies.
Okay, now please use your pens and underline. Bhumi, earth. Apaha, water. Analaha, fire. Vayu, air. Kham is ether. Mana, mind. Buddhi, intelligence. Ahankar, false ego. Krishna is saying these 8 energies are my separated energies. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara. इतियम में भिन्ना प्रकृतिर अष्टधा. These are my separated energies. These are my energies. Okay? But these are my inferior, material energies. Okay? These energies, the external energy, Krishna is saying, my separated energy. अब separated energy मतलब क्या? Suppose I cook some food, right? And I put it in my child's dabba. And I send it with my child to eat. When my child at lunchtime opens that dabba and eats the food, the child looks at the food. Does he see me over there? No, right? But he knows that the food is my creation. Right? ये डब्बा किसने बनाया? मम्मा ने बनाया. So when he eats that food, he is thinking, wow, my mommy is so nice. Right? My mom has made this dabba for me. So that डब्बे में जो खाना है, it is my separated energy. Correct? Or let's say you're listening to the recording of a beautiful song. Is that singer singing it for you live at that point? No. But would that song have been possible without that artist? No. Right? So when you're listening to that song, you're thinking, wow, है ना? वाह, लता मंगेशकर. Right? So separated energy. So when you see that energy, you're supposed to connect that energy with the energetic. So, भूमिर आपो नलो वायु खम, अपना मन, अपनी बुद्धि और अपना अहंकार. All of these are Krishna's energies. They are just his separated energies. Okay? So when I see earth, water, fire, ether, wind, I'm supposed to think of Krishna because they are his separated energies. When my mind does not listen to me, I'm supposed to say, Krishna, I need you to be under my control. Listen to me. I need my buddhi to be purified by Krishna. I need to give up my false ahankar and convert it to real ahankar. False ahankar is when I think, I'm Varsha Biyani, I'm Varsha Shinde, I'm so smart. Right? True ego is when I realize I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. Everything invested in me comes from him. I'm a child of that Supreme Krishna. Right? So these 8, Krishna says, Ashtadha are my separated energies. Okay? Next verse will tell us his superior energy. Please pay attention. Repeat. Apareyam itastvanyam prakrutim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat.
Besides this, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature.
So nice. Look at the clarity. The Bhagavad Gita always amazes me because if you ever need a teacher, you need a teacher like Krishna. Look at the clarity. He first says, "Acha, bhai, meri inferior energy kya hai? Man, what? Start. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kham man buddhi ahankar. These are my separated energies. These are my inferior energies. Besides that, I have a superior energy, Arjun, and that superior energy is all you Jivatmas. Right? All of us. Sonal, Nipa, Urmila, Krishna, Mayuri, Subbalakshmi, everybody. We are all, Krishna is telling us we are his superior energies. Right? And these superior energy are going to actually use the inferior energy to excel on our spiritual path. Right? The living entities, the Atmas, have to use the inferior energy for different purposes. And that is how the material world functions. Right? Think about it. The material world cannot act unless a Jivatma makes it act. Right? Earth, water, fire, ether, all of it is lifeless. Correct? It's all gross. There's tons and tons of gold in the gold mine. But only an Atma, only a Jivatma, only a living being can actually go and mine that gold. Correct? नहीं तो सब पड़ा हुआ है वहां पे. That is why we are called Krishna's superior energy. Also remember, we are superior energy because we are the same in quality as God. It's only in quantity कि ज़मीन आसमान का फर्क है, right? But in quality, we are the same as that Supreme Lord, right? It's just that we have थोड़ा शक्ति, he is शक्तिमान. We have थोड़ा मान सम्मान, he is all fame. है ना? We have थोड़ा बहुत ऐश्वर्य, he is full of all kinds of ऐश्वर्य. So we are the Lord's superior energy. We are a speck of gold and he is the entire gold mine. Or we are a drop of water in the ocean, he is the entire ocean. Right? So we, the Atma, is the superior energy of the Lord, and everything material is the inferior energy of the Lord. And for that we need to remember our own bodies are made of what? Our body is made of Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu Kham. Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. So this body of ours is Krishna's inferior energy. And this soul of ours is Krishna's superior energy. Think of this. Since my body and my soul are both Krishna's energy, I need to use my body and my soul in Krishna's service. Make sense? So apara means something that is not para, material. And para means spiritual, the superior one. Both of them I have right here. My body is God's inferior energy and my soul is God's superior energy. I need to use my body as a conduit so that I will help my soul go back to the spiritual world. Nipa darling, you have a question?
Yes, Barsha. Actually, I wanted to know, so which one is the superior energy and which one is the inferior energy? So all you have mentioned like 8 energies, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, all are comes under inferior energy of
Yes,
Krishna?
all 8 are inferior energy of Krishna. All 8 of them.
Okay.
Krishna's only superior energy is my Atma. And your Atma and everybody else's Atma. That spark of life, what we call consciousness, what we call Jeev, right? That is Krishna's superior energy.
Okay.
So remember, as soon as my Atma leaves my body, right, I am dead. I am Deha. I'm a dead
Okay.
body because that spark of life, which is the reason that I'm alive, is gone. So that little speck that distinguishes between alive and dead, that makes me superior. Whereas Bhumi,
Okay.
Apu, Nalu, Vayu, Kham, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar mein ye hai nahi. That is why they are dead. That is why they need the living spirit to activate them.
But always this intelligence comes into picture. People is having high intelligence, normal
Correct.
intelligence.
You just said that, right? People have intelligence, which means Nipa. The soul Nipa has intelligence which she can decide how to use. Can intelligence act on its own?
Okay.
Can your intelligence act on its own? No, it cannot. You will direct your intelligence. You have to control your mind. अगर वो inferior नहीं होता तो वो अपने आप काबू में हो जाता ना. Why do you have to do इतना वैराग्य and अभ्यास to control your mind? Because you are the only one who has the ability to do it. Because you are superior, or rather that's what makes you superior. मन अपने आप काबू में आता ही नहीं है.
Yeah, got
Right?
it. Yeah.
So all of that is inferior, and you as the Jivatma, you are superior. Yes, Rajeshri, you have a question?
Yes, Varsha. In a very simple language, a soul is within the body, and
Yes.
the body exists because of the soul.
Correct.
Okay, so you said that purity and impurity, so these are part of a body, and once the soul leaves, then only it becomes pure. So how do you make me understand this? Because the body is a body which functions normally, and we have a soul. So how do you explain this?
So-
I'm a bit confused.
So the impurities actually go as impressions on our soul. Originally, our soul is Satchitananda. Our soul is absolutely pure. originally we are of the same quality of that Supreme Lord. But because lifetime after lifetime we have been coming in contact with this material world, what has happened? We've picked up impurities. And we've attached these impurities as samskar on our soul. Okay. When the soul, so this, correct. 1 minute. I correct that. We attach that as samskar on our man, buddhi and ahankar. Okay. On our man, buddhi and ahankar. When we die, we leave the Pancha Mahabhut behind. We leave Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu Kham. We leave that body behind. But that subtle body, Man Buddhi Ahankar, is what goes along with that superior energy called soul. When the soul leaves the body, 5 aspects are left behind. But the 3, which are still separated material energies of the Lord, they have taken on impressions. They have taken on samskars. Based on my current situation, a lot of impressions are made on my mind, my thought process, my intelligence. Right? All these samskars, they don't let the Atma go alone. They go with the Atma. And that
Annamaya
Atma
Kosha,
then,
no?
sorry?
No. Annamaya Kosha goes. Monomaya Kosha and all rest 4
Kosh
kosha.
die. Annamaya Kosh is left
Goes.
behind. That is your body. Pranamaya
Rest 4
Kosh left
kosha.
behind. Very good. It makes me so happy that you're applying this. Superb. Superb. Annamaya
The
Kosh,
rest 4
Pranamaya Kosh
koshas
are
will
left
go, no?
behind.
Yeah, Annamaya Kosha is left behind. Rest 4 will go, no?
Pranamaya Kosh is also left behind.
Is it?
Because you're,
Okay.
because you're managing your breath, right? And breath is left behind. It is when you stop breathing that you've gone ahead. Right? But your Jnana Kosh, your Vijnana Kosh, and your last one, the final one that gives you
Anandam.
complete Anandamaya Kosh, these 3 go ahead. That is why we say in our current life, purify your man by chanting, purify your buddhi by studying scriptures, and purify your ego by doing seva. Because when
Okay.
the Atma goes ahead, we want these 3 koshas to be as pure as possible so that our placement will be accordingly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Therefore, the 3 things are very, very important. Is that clear? Renu, Rajeshwari, does it answer your
Yes.
question?
Thank you, Varsha. Thank you so much.
Yes? Renu,
Got
do you
it.
have a question? No? Okay. All right. So,
Ma'am?
Lakshmi, you have something to add?
Yeah. See, actually, when the soul leaves our body, matlab, our intelligence, ego, and what else that goes with the soul?
Man, buddhi, ahankar.
Ahankar. Okay. Mind, intelligence, and ego.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the questions, guys,
Yeah.
because it clarifies it for me also when I'm talking about it. Thank you. We'll do one last verse for the day. Verse number 6, please. Etad yonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham kritnasya jagata pralayas-tatham.
All created beings have their source in these 2 natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain I am both the origin and the dissolution.
Okay, so Krishna is basically repeating the same thing that he says. He says this world that you see, it has the material aspect and it has all the jivatmas in it, right? Both my energies are present in this material world. So Bhumir, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar are my separated energies, my inferior ones. And all you living entities, you are my superior energy, right? But please realize that whether you're inferior or you're superior, your creation and your dissolution, only I am responsible for. Prabhava, tumhara janam, everything comes from me. And pralay, everything is destroyed by me. Both creation and dissolution are because of the Supreme Lord. He is the creator, He is the maintainer, and He is the destroyer of everything in all the 14 lokas. Right? So in all 14 planetary systems, every entity, living, non-living, has its origin and its destruction in the Supreme Lord. So we'll do 7.7. It's a beautiful verse that really helps us understand how Krishna pervades everything. Okay? A beautiful verse for us to also learn by heart. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya putre manigana iva.
O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung onto a thread.
So beautiful. Krishna is talking about his authority, about his supreme position in this universe. If the father of the house stands up and says, "Ki there is nobody superior to me in this house," is he boasting or is he speaking the truth? Speaking the truth, right? Because in a way, he maintains the family. In a way, remember, we're tiny creatures, right? So in a tiny, tiny way, he is maintaining the family, and therefore you can call him the head of the family. Right? We normally grow up like this, right? Father is the head of the house, mother is the heart of the house. Right? We do this, we assign things. Here Krishna is clearly telling us, ki look, I, matta parataram nanyat. There is no one superior to me. Right? I am the supermost. I am the creator, I am the sustainer, and I am the annihilator. And yet, when you say you can't see me, think of a string of pearls. You know, all of us have some beautiful pearl necklace. You can only see the pearls. Can you see the string under it? No, right? But can the pearls actually stay together in that beautiful string of pearls if the string does not exist? The pearls won't, na pearls to idhar udhar bikhar jayenge. Right? That is exactly what Krishna is saying, that everything in this material world and in the spiritual world, everything small, everything big, absolutely everything is held together by me. You just don't see me. And that is the theory. Mattah parataram nanyat. Nobody is superior to me. But you don't see me because Mai sarvamidam protam. I am spread everywhere, but how am I spread? Sutre manigana iva. Like the sutra, like the thread in a pearl necklace. Right? So when we see that string of pearls, we don't see the string. But does that mean that the string does not exist? In fact, if the string does not exist, that whole string of pearls would not have existed. Moti idhar udhar bikhar jaate. The only thing that keeps us all tight together, keeps us all connected, is that string of pearls. Right? So the 7th chapter verses till here, till the 7th one, theory of Krishna. Very, very important that we start understanding now, because all our further understanding is going to be based on this. There is a gross world, right? There is a subtle world, and then there is the Jivatma. Right? This gross world is something that God has created, which we manipulate if we need to make a house. Right? We manipulate bhume rapo nalo vayu kham. Right? We need to make a car. We need to make anything in creation. Right? We are utilizing everything that Krishna has already provided in the world. Then we have good control over what is also subtle. Man buddhi ahankar. So while we have control over everything that is gross is very easy for us to manipulate. Right? But the subtle has a mind of its own. Subtle is a little hard for us to manipulate. Right? But as Atma, we have to know Krishna himself is clearly telling us, you are superior. You have all the strength. So everything, the 5 completely gross ones and the 3 subtle, are completely under your control. So Jivatma, understand your own strength. So from now on, if you want to think, I want to accomplish something, always remind yourself that you are Krishna's superior energy. And so to accomplish anything in life, right, you have the strength. You simply have to manipulate all the inferior energy to accomplish everything that you want. right? Krishna is the source of everything and we are his tiny parts. So we are completely empowered. As Jivatmas, we have complete empowerment. We need to use that empowerment to decide, to chart our course and start walking on that path. Make sense? Next week, we will actually see that thread under the pearls. Okay, Krishna is going to help us start seeing him. Till then, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining.